Hi guys, it's Jen from ScanNCut Jam Sessions. I tried to highlight the embossing so you guys could see it a little better. And I got a little crazy with the ink pad right there. But as you can see, this is a embossing that I did with the attachment that I made. There's the flower and then there's the hand. Okay, this says, of course, you can see aunt and baby. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I go about making it. Here it is. It's a pretty cool little piece. Has this big round ball on the end of it for this one because I wanted a big wide path. It's nice and smooth so it's not going to snag the paper. It goes into our pen attachment. Let me show you here. And of course it has the lines right there that fit in the corresponding lines in our pen holder. Oops. Okay. Oops. So there it is. All fitting nice and pretty in there. Okay. When I put this in my machine, I use a pressure of 1, speed of 4. Okay. So there's that. And what I did is when I made this, I took the pen and actually measured the nib of the pen to the height of the pen. Okay, so I made sure that they were nice and even so that I wasn't going to mess up my little pen holder. Alright, now the first one I made, I used a chop saw and cut that off just because I absolutely love power tools. I think I should have been a boy. Okay, so I cut that off, but I realized that a lot of you may not have access to it or don't feel comfortable using it. So this is one I tried with pliers. You can see this end shattered, which is fine because we don't need it anyhow, and this one broke off right at the tip there, and I use these two little pliers to do it. Okay, so here's the result. This is the broken off piece, which is fine, it'll still work, and this is the long piece that came out. Let me see if I can focus this in a little better. That's the long piece that came out of the broken end, which is good. So then what I do is I will take, oops, wrong ones. Well, you can do those too. I take my little pliers and I go through and I crimp the ends of this. Okay. And actually sometimes what I'll do is I'll hold this to give it a little bit more friction. You just want to make some scars on the end of that. Alright, and there is some nice scarring on the end of that now, because you want the stuff that you're going to put around it to stick and not slide. Okay, so then I thought, well, maybe somebody's going to lack the hand strength to do that. So the next option was, you see this, put some of this crud away for a minute. You can see this nasty old gooky towel I have here. A dusting towel. So what I did was I laid all these out like this. Okay, then I folded this over, and then I literally whacked the tar out of the ends of them and broke them with a hammer. Okay, but you got to make sure that when you're whacking the tar out of them that you don't whack this part. You don't want to bend that, because then it'll be off on your embossing tool. So these actually come apart really easy, but you want to make sure you have the towel covering them and something on your covering your eyes, your safety glasses, because all these little pieces will want to fly all over the place. Okay, so there's a ton of little pieces here that come off of it, but as long as you have it covered, okay, and you're whacking the tar out of it, you should be fine. But make sure you wear your safety goggles too. Alright, so then I have all of these little pieces here, and they're all different sizes. So I can use the big fat gigantic one, Or I can switch it out, use a medium-sized one, or I can use one of these really skinny ones. Okay, see that one? Really skinny one to do like a score. And what you're going to want to do, what you're going to want to get is either Fimo or Sculpey, SCULPEY clay. And it is oven hardening, not air hardening. Oven hardening. And this stuff is hard. And you're going to have to run over it with a semi to get it to break. Alright, so what you're going to do then is you're going to need to, I put this attachment in here, I'm making this one up as we go. You're going to want to, let me break that apart. You're going to want to knead this clay for a while because it's sometimes it's hard as a rock. But with heat, the heat of like your body, I put it in my hands and I do this a lot. So with the heat of your body, just heat it up to get it malleable. Okay? So I have one started here. So get that all kind of smoothed around your little tip there. Okay, and I'll even put it in my hands and do a rub till you get to about where the size of the pen is. Okay, I'm sorry if I did that off camera. Okay, so take your little pen holder, shove that down in there, and that's kind of loosey-goosey, but it might be okay, because once you do that, and don't push, let me show you what I'm talking about. When you put it in there and you go to push it back out, don't push on this because you'll just shove that right back up into the clay. Alright, so don't push on that, but you see already the little ridges forming around there where that catches and stops it. Okay, but I want to add a little bit more to it because I want it to be tall enough that it touches this little piece right here, this kind of little spring-loaded piece. Alright, because I want it to be seated nice. I don't want it to slop up and down or side to side. Alright, so I'm going to add some to it and I'll be right back. Okay, so I added some to it. Now I want to kind of thin it out a little bit. Okay, oh, there we go. That's looking perfect. And you want to adjust your nib to make sure that it's in the middle, and mine is. And you're just going to kind of squish it down, I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera view. Okay, let me bring this in focus here. You're going to kind of squish this down to make sure that it's nice and fat and seated well in there. Okay, you see how that's coming out? That's turning out really, really well. So now I can bring in my little knife here and we'll chop it off about there. So I just brought this in, this little knife, and I cut the tip of it off. And with you making one for yourself, it doesn't have to be pretty. Like this one picked up all the ink that was in my hands. That's okay. When you do these for yourself, it does not have to be pretty as long as it's functional and it's safe. Because again, these are not OEM, original equipment manufactured parts. Okay, so we want to be extra safe, that are extra secure, that we're not going to hurt our machines. Alright, I'm going to add just maybe a smidge more. I chopped off too much. We'll just keep working this stuff back and forth. This stuff can actually be your best friend. It's like acetate. So Sculpey clay, Fimo clay, acetate, and me are best friends forever. I love that stuff. You get an idea in your head and you want to make something, i.e. this, you can grab this stuff and start making whatever you want. And when you stick it in the oven and you cook this, it is hard as a rock. And it does last a long time because I made some Christmas ornaments out of it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know I'm talking about weird stuff, but I'm trying not to make it so boring while you watch me do this. Okay. So push it down in there, and you see now those marks are very, very clear. Okay. And you can even leave your little pinch marks up here. Okay. Because when you do, all that's going to do is when you use this, it's going to give you something to grab a hold of to help pull it out. Okay. And that's key when you are making this, not really after you bake it. Okay. So good. Yes, that is touching that little thing. You can see how it flattened it off. Okay. So I know that that is now touching. Alright, so let's give her a squeeze and give her a pull out there. Okay, so this one is ready to be baked. I'm not going to touch it anymore, do anything with it. I'll just let it lay there, and then I'll take the rest of the nibs and make up some more. But with the Fimo clay, it is 230 for about, I think it's 30 minutes. I don't think my oven works right. I think I bake mine for 260 at 30 minutes. You want to test your oven, okay? And then be really careful with it, because of course it's going to be really, really hot. And just let it cool then, and then you can go ahead and start using it, okay? But remember, and I'm going to say this a million times, this is not OEM. This is not something made by Brother. This is something made by us. So you want to test your machine and do it very, very cautiously, okay? I don't want anybody messing their machine up. I've been using this one for about a month, maybe a little more. Okay, I wanted to test it to make sure it wasn't going to ruin anybody's anything, because I do not want that to happen. Alright, but if you do it and you make it the same size as your pen, okay, and that one is the same size as my pen, and you use really light pressure to start out with, you don't really have to worry about it hurting anything, because I'm telling you, it's a smooth ball. And oh, always check to make sure your ball stays smooth. Alright, if something happens and that metal coating starts to flake off, get rid of it. Do not use it. Okay, one, it will shred your paper, and two, it may get caught in the underlying part of what I'm going to show you next. Alright, okay, here's this wonderful, wonderful mat. This is what I used, okay? You know that foam stuff? That's what I put down here. Alright, let me show you a piece of it. It's this stuff. And it's nice and squishy. Okay, so I lay this on my mat. Get it all stuck down. Okay, and then I will put some adhesive, and you can see there's really not, it's not sticky. Even this thing that I have on, this jacket that I have on, doesn't leave any residue on it. Okay, but when I put it on here, okay, and I'm sure if you do a 12 by 12 that you wouldn't even need to do this, that you can take your wonderful tape, like I did, you seen in my first one that I showed you, the pictures on the Facebook page. I have tape around all the sides. Okay, so go ahead and tape that puppy down. You don't even need to use the adhesive spray. Alright, tape that puppy down there, and if you've got it on all four sides like I have, you see it is not going anywhere, and I am pushing. Alright, so it's not going to move. You'll be good. Alright, so that's how you do the mat. And then you put the, what did I just do with it? Packed it all away already, jeez. You put this embossing tool on it. See if I can get you a little clearer. And you start to let that thing move. Okay, and it is going to emboss really well. And then you use a smaller one, and with the thinner ones, you're going to want to decrease that pressure, because that puppy will go right through this mat, or right through this paper. Okay, so make sure you decrease that pressure a little bit. Play around with it, because this one is that big ball, And then these ones that are a little bit smaller, if you push too hard, that can go right through your paper. See, right there's one of the creases, okay, and the 2 sheets that I have under it. But look at that nice score line that you can get. Alright, so you see this does work amazingly well. You just don't want too much pressure, because look, it'll go right through it and it'll mess everything up. Alright guys, so that is how you make an embossing tip for the ScanNCut from Brother that we've waited way too long to get. It does not take long to make at all, as you've seen me do this one. Alright, and if you have the foam paper, that's awesome too. But I'm going to tell you that the lady that, where I got these, is on eBay. And it's, I think it's $6.95 and free shipping to America for all 5 of these. Okay, and on one end it's all different sizes, and on the other end it's all the same size of ball stylus. Okay, but she does offer international shipping to the UK, to Australia, all that. So get a hold of me. I'll actually post her eBay site on my Facebook page, which is ScanNCut Canvas and Scal Help on Facebook. You can find the links also right there on the channel page under the Facebook button on our channel banner. But again, my final statement, these are not OEM. I have tested these in my machine, and of course I do very rigorous testing. I don't want to come out and say, oh, I've created the greatest thing on earth and have it blow somebody's machine to smithereens. But that is a possibility if you do not follow the directions and do not use it carefully. If that pressure is too high or your speed is too high, you can run that nib right into that paper and it gets jammed. It's going to snap that belt. And then your machine is fried, and pretty much it's all on your shoulders. And we do not want that, okay? But I also want to say that this is my design. I designed it fully, start to finish, everything. I don't want to see this copied or shared or someone else claiming that it's their idea. I've already contacted Brother about this to try to get them to maybe hurry up and give us something that we can use that is OEM. But until then, hey, at least we have this, which is really, really fun. And I just like making stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions at all, get a hold of me. I am always very, very easy to reach. Okay? Thanks, guys.